Welcome everyone to a new episode of After the Massage podcast. Today, a new episode in English. We have here a Poland girl who has been living in Porto already for 7 years.
Yes.
Yes. Who is a business owner. It's also a consultant coaching. We're going to talk about this
Yeah.
and ex. I forgot the word now, but ex
Corporate.
corporate person. Thank you. That it has its own transition. We're gonna talk about that too, and we're gonna talk about all the process that gets you into the Hotpod Yoga, this
Yes.
amazing project that you have here in Porto. Well, in Matosinhos, but in Porto. So Anna, I forgot again.
Novak.
Novak, thank you. Anna Novak, welcome to After the Massage podcast. Thank you very much for coming here to
Yeah,
supporting
thank you
me.
for having me.
Yeah.
It's such a wonderful experience. So
Yes.
I'm really happy to be here.
We're gonna be thanking already to Belen too, who introduced us. So thank
Yes,
you,
big
Belen.
thanks.
Yes. Well, Anna, the first question of the podcast is always the same. It's how do you feel with the massage?
The massage was really amazing. I did not realize how much I needed that.
Yeah, that's true.
I told you it's been a while since I had a professionally done massage. And as soon as you put your hands on me, I could tell that I very, very much needed it. So perhaps I should come here more often.
Well, now you have my number. That's
Yeah.
the idea of make the massage first. Yes, that's the evil plan. I
No,
said.
it's very good.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So let's go. Let's go with you now. Let's go with your career. Let's go with your life a little bit.
Mhm.
And the first question for for my guest here is always the same. And I mean, it's been changing a little bit, but we already know, we already make some spoiler that you don't start with yoga.
No.
But I want to know if in your first, I don't know, 20 years of your life, there is some related relation with yoga, maybe some, no, or with yoga or with wellness, with sport, with
Mhm.
nutrition, with, I don't know, in your family, in school. There is something related on you?
Zero.
Zero. Okay. That's a common
Zero.
question, That is a
Yeah.
common answer. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
common
yeah.
answer.
And it's actually very interesting. So I grew up in a very small town.
Okay.
And I was quite a fluffy child as well.
Okay.
So I did not exactly like physical
Activities?
classes. Not exactly because I didn't like it, but because of how mean the kids are.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's like if you don't perform as good as everybody else, then that's
Loser.
not, yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't love it. Nutrition has been a big part, especially when I, started growing up when I was a teenager, because then obviously I started fighting
Yeah.
my nature and like trying the craziest diets and really trying to do anything to control
Okay.
anything around my body, and had a lot of ups and downs around that. And I got into sports. I think in my 20s, I got a little bit obsessed about the gym.
Okay.
But I actually hated any group classes. I went a couple of times to like fitness
Yeah.
classes, and I hated it. I thought I had zero coordination, that I couldn't follow the cues either, and I just didn't enjoy it. And I preferred much more to just go to the gym and be by myself.
Okay. But it always looking that I like to make this difference between exercise and in not a wellness view. When the exercise go for not love change, because I hate my body, so I need to change.
Yeah.
Not because you accept it and you want to be more healthy.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I did like how I felt after the gym. I did like the feeling.
Yes.
But it was all with a purpose. It wasn't because I loved it, or it wasn't because I liked how what it does to my mind. It was quite the opposite.
Yeah.
So I also tried yoga once many years ago, and I happened to go to probably the worst place to try a class for the first time with zero experience, and I was almost traumatized by it. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that again.
Not my thing.
No, and yeah, I only have done my very first class, guided yoga class, actually, when I moved to Porto. I think my first class was late 2019.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, and I've done a little bit of online classes, just like following YouTube.
Yeah.
That's not the same. But the first guided class was here in Hotpod, actually.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna get in there because, well, we're gonna go into that transition. But for sure, there is a difference when you go for a different view of why are you doing yoga now. That is maybe because, well, if you're in Porto in that case, maybe you already. I assume that you disconnect for your last life, working life. So maybe you have another view of what you want to do with your life, how do you want to feel. So maybe that different type of approach could make a difference also because how you feel the class.
Yeah.
So but we're gonna go there, right?
Sure.
So what did you study? Because you have this corporative job. What is
Mhm.
your main career in there?
So I spent 15 years in corporate finance,
Okay, wow.
really corporate.
Okay.
Got myself seriously addicted to working as
Okay.
well, to the point where I was working around 12, 13 hours every single day or
Wow.
more. I think there was a point when I was working 16 hours every day, and I was proud of it. I'm a millennial.
Okay,
You know,
I
millennials
know.
are typically very hardworking people.
Yeah.
Polish people typically are also quite
Okay.
hardworking. And I just grew up with this work culture and never stopping.
Yeah. Your
So-
career letter was clear and that's what you
Yeah.
need to do for getting there. Yeah.
So I started in finance. I went for a couple of companies, and in this one company, I really got myself seriously addicted, to the point that I was once falsely diagnosed with a heart attack at 25 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Fortunately, it was an incorrect diagnosis,
Okay.
but it was like an ice bucket on my head to kind of wake me up and make me realize that maybe I should slow down.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interestingly, and you're going to understand what happened. I actually I have a little bit of issues with my back because many years ago I was run over by a car and like a little bit of things around that. So I need to get an osteopathic alignment on a regular basis. But because I was working so hard, I never had
didn't go,
time for
yeah.
it. So I could feel that something was wrong with my back, but I didn't have time to go
Yeah, of
get
course, I'm
fixed.
working.
So I
Yeah.
just kept working. And, you know, if you work through pain, at some point you accept the pain and you don't realize that the pain is
Yeah,
there
true.
anymore. So I ignored it for weeks. And then I started having like punching pain in my lungs, in my heart. I couldn't breathe. And my colleague, who was in his 50s, he was like, I think you might want to go see a doctor. And we had like a hospital in the same building that
Okay.
our office was. So I immediately went. And as soon as I told them what's happening and how my life is, they
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, you have a heart attack. So they started, you know, all of the heart tests. And then I said, well, everything's fine with your heart. And I spent a few hours in the hospital and they were trying to understand what's happening. So like, you know, tested my sugar and everything. And finally the doctor was like, can I see your back? And it turned out that, I know that medically it's not incorrect, it's not a correct term, but like my disc moved
Okay.
in
Wow.
the area of the chest, and it swelled up so much that my rib started moving.
Yeah, yeah.
And it moved just an inch,
To
but
get
it
your
was
bump, yeah.
punching my lung,
Yeah.
and I couldn't breathe.
Wow.
Yeah, so I basically that same day I went to get my osteopathic alignment. My osteopath, whom like I loved him really very much, he at the time said, you know, if you come back to me in this state, I'm going to kick your ass, because it was like I really had a bump on my back.
Wow.
It was so swelled up. Yeah, I wasn't really taking good care of myself then, but that was an ice bucket that I needed on my head. And then I started slowing down.
Okay, so that wasn't the breaking point.
Oh no.
No.
Oh no.
I'm a millennial. Yeah.
That
No,
was
that
over
was the
10 years
first
ago.
shot. Yeah.
That was the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had a few of those.
Okay.
Then I moved to Portugal,
Okay.
and I lived in Lisbon for a year and a half.
But keep working. Keep corporative working.
It was
Okay.
still corporate.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I basically thought that my life is designed for it. I didn't want anything else in my life. And I was very focused on getting a serious career, which I have gotten. I got to a very serious and very respectful job
Good.
in corporate world, first in Lisbon, but didn't love Lisbon that much. I'm sorry to everyone who loves Lisbon.
Oh,
I still love it
I
as a
got the same.
tourist.
I got the
I
same.
don't love it as a place to live.
Yeah. Can I ask why Portugal?
Because of the job. The job was here.
Okay. So
Yeah.
okay, you went sent to Portugal. You didn't came
So
here.
yeah, I applied for a job that was here.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I worked in an area that was kind of a niche at the time.
Okay.
And in Poland, there wasn't really many jobs in that specific niche
Gotcha.
at the time. And if they were in a different city.
Okay.
And I had a lot of friends who have moved to a different city, but kind of stay connected to their normal city, their first city. And they kind of live this double life. And I
Yeah.
didn't want it. And I said, you know, if I'm leaving my city, I want to go somewhere else.
Perfect.
And that's when an opportunity came a former colleague of mine started working at this company in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, and I loved the Netherlands at the time. I even was trying to speak Dutch. I was learning
Okay.
Dutch just for fun because
Yeah.
I loved it.
Wow.
And
Fun.
he called me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like languages. He called me and he said, so like I'm in this company and like there's this amazing job, and I was so excited because I was waiting for him to say that the job is in the
Yeah.
Netherlands, and then he's like, well, it's in Lisbon, and I laughed out loud.
Yeah.
I said, there's no fucking way I'm going to do that.
To the other side of
Yeah,
Europe.
I was like, I know nothing about the country.
Yeah.
I know nothing about the culture. Never been there. It's like no way.
Yeah.
And I also knew nothing about the company. I was like, please consider watch a couple of videos about the company on YouTube, and like see what you think. And the company actually watching the videos has convinced me that this is a great company, and I think it is a great company.
Okay.
And yeah, I just decided to change my life and to go to Lisbon. Interestingly, before I was going through that process with Lisbon, a couple of months before, me and my best friend, we planned a trip, like a random trip,
Okay.
a city break, and she chose the city, and it was Lisbon.
Okay. Well.
So we decided on that around January, and then in April I started interviewing for the job, and in May we were there in Lisbon for our trip, and that was actually when I had my face-to-face interview.
Perfect. Perfect.
So everything aligned
Yeah.
up perfectly. And when I went back home and resigned from the job, everybody was like, "Oh, this is why you went to Lisbon." I was like, "No, not at all. That was just a coincidence." And the interesting thing then was that a couple of months later, I sort of forced my friends to take me to Porto to visit, and we planned it a few months in advance. And again, like the time coincided so much that at the time that I was visiting Porto, I was actually in the interview process for a job here in Porto.
Yeah.
So it was like, again, stars aligning.
Perfect.
So I moved to Porto in 2019 and I started a job in here. And it was probably one of my happiest jobs for the first few years.
Corporative's happy job.
Corporate.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. I felt, I really loved what I was doing. I had an amazing team. The company was amazing. My boss was amazing. It was all making sense. I was traveling the world.
Nice.
And then it stopped being amazing at some point.
Yeah, of course.
But that was exactly when I sort of discovered yoga. A good friend of mine was like, observing me for a while and says, I think you need yoga in your life. And I was like, oh, no, but bullshit.
Yeah, because you have the experience for the last one that you made.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I don't want this. Yoga is like so spiritual, and I'm so much not. I've always been like very straightforward, very like blunt person, communicating very strictly and not talking about like stars aligning in universe. I was like, this is really not my vibe. But they have insisted very much that I needed, and I kept saying no. To the point that my friend actually decided to buy me my first mat, my blocks,
Nice.
my everything. And because I am a little bit of a people pleaser, I was like, okay, now I cannot say no. Yeah. So my biggest excuse at the time was that there is no yoga in English in Porto. So
There is.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
And so I was doing yoga with YouTube, which was nice,
Okay.
but it wasn't the same. And then another friend of mine discovered Hotpod. And she was like, Anna, you have to come here. They teach in English. And I was like, damn,
No more excuses.
Excuse anymore. So I went, and that was at the end of 2019.
Okay.
During the first class, I thought I was going to die.
Of course.
It's a very hard practice. It's so demanding. And at the time, I wasn't doing anything else with my body much. I was like doing a little bit of gym, but not really. And I like halfway through the class, I was like, I'm going to kill her. I'm just really going to kill her. Why did she send me here?
Yeah, well, yoga indeed, it's most of the person maybe can think that yoga it's calming thing and breathe, and could be hard also.
It can be.
Yeah, exactly.
Can
But
be.
and also if you add it to a concept, okay, can we explain a little bit what it Hotpod?
Yes.
Yeah, because
So Hotpod Yoga is a little special, or I
Yeah.
would say a lot special.
Yeah.
We practice inside an inflated pod. It has the shape of a dome, so it's a little bit like this, warm chamber. It's very dark in there, so we only have like very soft LED lighting.
Yeah.
The walls are obviously soft because everything is inflated, and the floor is soft as well.
Even
So
harder to balance.
It's
Yes.
much harder
Yeah,
to
yeah.
balance. So the space is very safe as a result. So we don't have mirrors. You can't look around at yourself and see,
Your
how you look
posture, yeah.
exactly. And because it's a little dark, you also can't see much others.
Mhm.
And so you're kind of forced to focus on yourself.
Perfect.
And we heat it up to 37 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also have high humidity in there, usually
Mhm.
around 70%,
Wow.
which basically means you walk in and just by sitting there and doing nothing, you just,
Sweating.
sweat a lot.
Yeah.
So it makes the practice that much harder, but it also makes the practice much more rewarding.
Yeah.
Because even going back to my first experience, I hated it halfway. But at the end of it, I loved how I felt. And I was like, oh, maybe that wasn't that bad. Or
Yeah.
like it feels like it was worth it. And it's a very immersive experience. We always have the same music. We always have the same essential oils around.
Nice.
It's very it's quiet and loud at the same time because to inflate the pod, we use fans, which
Okay.
have to keep working all the
Yes.
time. But they do create this white noise,
Mhm.
which for me is very calming as well.
Good.
And it, at the same time, is creating this sort of barrier from the outside noises as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah.
So you really enter the space and it's like you're
In another place.
in another place. You
Yes.
immediately transform. So it's a very special place.
Yes.
It's a very special place.
Let me ask something then, because okay, these two friends of you
Yeah.
convince you to
Yeah.
go and start with the yoga, but you're still working here in Porto in your cooperative job, right? How it was? Well, it's already different because you said that this job in Porto was okay, still corporative, but you love it more.
I
At
loved
least,
it.
yeah. So how it was combined, maybe for the first time,
Mhm.
more focus on exercise and job. Do you think that
Yeah.
you can find that balance here in Porto? Maybe I'm asking this because a lot of person came to Portugal trying to find this work-life balance.
Mhm.
Do you think that you find it in that point of your life?
I had it.
Yeah.
There was a point where I had it. At some point, I lost it for a lot
Yeah.
of reasons, but I had it, and I did burn out in the end.
Okay.
But I think the fact that I was doing yoga and so much yoga helped me to get there much later.
Yeah.
And also helped me to deal with it differently. So I developed a routine where I was finishing my day with yoga every day.
Perfect.
So I had my daily ambitious and amazing but stressful job, 9 to 5, 9 to 6.
Yeah.
And then even everybody in the office knew that it was like 6:15 I have to leave because I have my yoga.
Nice.
So I was there Monday to Thursday every single day, and then I was practicing in the weekend. And that was really what kept me going and what kept me grounded.
Mhm.
And the most important thing that I learned from yoga and from that place in particular, because of the immersive experience,
Mhm.
was to turn off,
Nice.
to
Yes.
switch my head off.
Gotcha.
Before I started practicing yoga at Hotpod, I was unable to stop thinking about work after I left work.
Mhm.
I was, talking with my friends over dinner about work. I was dreaming about work.
Wow.
If you dream about your work,
Yeah, that's
you're
also
basically working.
Yeah, a
no?
red flag. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's if you go home and you still think about work, you're working.
Yeah.
So you're not giving your body and your mind any rest. And yoga has taught me to stop.
Mhm.
And it was a really great skill because at some point I didn't even need to go to yoga to be able to switch off after finishing work. I developed that skill to switch off.
Nice.
And I was refusing to have
Mhm.
conversations about work after work.
Perfect.
And during the weekends. And it was hard for some of my friends because lots of my friends were my colleagues.
Yeah.
And if we met, for lunch on a Sunday, they would ask about work. And I was
Yeah.
like, ask me Monday. And it was a lot frustrating sometimes.
got it.
But I really was refusing because the mind goes on very different, on a different level. It works really differently. It
Yeah.
goes, it's very, very different.
I also think that the hot thing, it's also another
The
atmosphere that
heat,
makes the difference. Yeah.
The heat makes the experience very different because we practice mostly vinyasa style, which is moving with the breath.
Mhm.
So it is typically not the slowest or not the
Okay.
most restorative. As we were talking earlier, it's not like, sitting and meditating.
Mhm, mhm.
It's a little faster. So you move a little bit more and there is a lot of strength work involved in that.
Okay.
And if you add to it high temperature, the experience becomes really intense.
Yeah.
So you actually get a very strong cardio workout because the heat makes your your heart work a little harder. But at the same time, because your circulation is improving, not just blood circulation, but all circulation in your body, you get the tension released much more strongly, and your flexibility gets deeper because the heat helps your muscles expand. So you can achieve better results and you can achieve progress faster.
Perfect.
That's one of the things that people very often notice, that they get they progress in their practice quickly in that.
Well,
Because the physical experience of the heat makes them just achieve those results a little better and a little sooner.
yeah. Gotcha.
So that's it. But especially when you're starting, when that practice is very difficult for you, because at some point your body gets used to the temperature.
Yeah.
I mean, you still sweat. It's
That's
still
right. Yeah,
hard,
yeah.
but you deal with it a little bit better. You learn to breathe through it and you learn to focus really on that. And it becomes more enjoyable as a result. And sometimes you will still, the teacher will do something crazy and you still feel like you're dying, but you deal with it better. But especially at the very beginning, the heat and the experience for me was so hard that I just could not think about my shopping list. I could not think about anything
You're surviving.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were just really focused on like, what is the teacher saying? What does the teacher want me to do? And where do I go? And that is what then teaches your mind to change to a completely different level.
Nice. Yeah, I agree with that completely. My girlfriend goes to CrossFit and she said the same thing. I just focus on breathe and not dive.
Yeah.
Yeah. That helps a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, but then it's, it might sound a little brutal, but it then teaches you how to deal with it. So I have a lot of students who come back to me and say, through yoga and thanks to yoga, I learned how to breathe and how to deal with my anxiety.
Yeah. Well.
Through breath.
Yeah.
So whenever I have a situation, I just do this or I do that, and I remind myself how I feel when I do this and I do that, and it helps. And that is also what happened with me. So I started practicing at Hotpod very regularly at beginning of 2020. But I kept working in corporate for the next 3-4 years.
Okay, let's go to that point. When was the time that you decided, okay, I cannot do this anymore, or how it was at that point? And did you make that decision with the idea of have your own hotspot, or it once in between? Let's talk a little bit about that.
So my last corporate experience started as my dream job, and it finished not exactly as a dream job. And because there were some things that weren't perfect, it started very much impacting my health.
Okay, wow.
And it was really my physical health that was needing that needed to be taken care of. So I ended up stepping away from corporates to take care of my health. And I've been wanting to do a teacher training for a while, but my job wasn't really allowing me because you have to go somewhere for like 5 weeks. And that wasn't really an option for me when I was having the corporate job. So when I stepped away and when, I started taking care of myself and taking care of my health, I was like, maybe that's the time also to do the teacher training. But the teacher training was always with the intention of getting better.
Yeah, it was for you.
It was for me. Again, millennial mindset. If you do something, do it well.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to get deeper and understand better, because at that point, I was already accepting that there is spirituality around yoga.
Wow, nice.
So I was like, okay, I want to respect it.
Yeah.
And I want to, out of that respect, I want to get a little bit more deep into what's there. So I introduced myself, or as part of my introduction, I said, I'm never going to teach.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to learn how to teach.
Yeah.
I'm here to get deeper into yoga. And then week 1, day 5, the owner or the founder of Hotpod, because I did my teacher training at Hotpod HQ because it's a franchise.
Wow.
He put me in front of everyone and had me teach half of the class. And I went and I did. And he just sat there like, and I was like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm scared. I was like, why are you scared? I was like, well, I do it in every teacher training and every round. I pick one person, I put them in front of the room, and it's usually the worst experience ever. Like, people are almost crying because very often yoga teachers are very shy or, very inwards focused people. I was like, and you just went and like bang, and it was perfect. And I was like, I was like, yeah, it's scary how perfect it was.
Wow, nice.
And I was like, all right, that's nice to hear. And he was like, what's your secret? And I said, well, I've done 350 classes at Hotpod Yoga Porto. And he was just like so happy to hear that, because this experience has indeed helped me to then be good on the other side of the mat. So when I finished the training, I actually thought maybe I could teach.
Okay.
And I came back to Portugal. And I knew at the time that Hotpot was up for sale because the owner was a good friend of mine. And I came back to Portugal, and for probably around 2 weeks, I was waking up with the same thought. What if I buy it?
Yeah.
Every single day. What if I buy it? And after 2 weeks, I picked up my phone. I said, listen, we need to talk. And, one thing led to another.
Nice.
I did my maths, I did my calculations, business case, financial, very reasonable, everything. And then I decided, okay, I'll go for it. And as of 2 years ago in August, actually, this August is my second anniversary of Hotpot.
Nice.
I became the new owner of that space.
Can we talk a little bit about the process of buying a business?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to talk about number. I don't get that part. Of course, you have an experience on the idea of financial and that kind of things. But because you are not creating from zero a full business. You are buying a business that for sure maybe already have some customers. You already have some cash flow around it. So what do you think are the things that you need to see to figure out if this could be a good idea or not? Of course, I assume that you also have some ideas to improve the full process, but how was that thought on you? What are the things that you saw and think? Because, okay, I assume the first thing is, okay, I like this idea, so I want to have for me. But of course, if I love it, but it's a bad business, I'm not gonna take it. So what are the things that you saw do you think that it's a good business?
Yeah, I first, of course, put on my finance hat, and I had to see the numbers and see how that's going to work. So I developed my own business case as well, with things that I'm going to add, things that I'm going to change, how that's going to change the cash flow and everything else, and make it a more sustainable business. So that was the very first thing that I wanted to consider. But actually, the instinct at first was, I love this place.
Okay.
This place was the best thing that happened to me. And I think maybe it was a little bit of, I don't want it to go into hands that are maybe not going to be good for it. Maybe it was this kind of protective thing. But as I was going through my transformation and, did a lot of therapy and everything else, I very much changed my mindset about what I want to do. And I wanted to focus more on doing good things.
Nice.
Like, I wanted to focus on like helping people. And, I've done excellent things in corporate. I've helped a lot of people grow, develop, get a better job, get a promotion, be more confident in what they're doing. I've done a lot of that. I've helped a lot of companies, get more money. And of course. But I also ran projects which ultimately resulted in reducing the headcount, right?
Okay.
So not exactly good things
Yeah,
for
got
people.
you. Yeah.
So when I was transitioning, I promised myself that everything that what I want to do now is going to be focused on helping and focused on doing good things.
Perfect.
And I thought that I haven't seen or I haven't heard anyone leave the class and say, I feel worse than I felt when I came in. And that's what I want. So I want to have impact. I want to have influence. And I want to, just with this littlest thing, help people feel better.
Nice.
And if I teach a class and there's one person at the end who says, that's what I needed, I feel better now, this was really good, this helped me, my goal is achieved, so that was it. So that I felt that I could change. It's not like I could change the world, because you can't change the world.
But you can change the world for the person.
If I have if I have impact on one person, then that's what I wanted to do. That's why when I was creating my business concept, from the very beginning, I wanted to be a combination of my two worlds. So the other part of my business is in consulting. And I still do a little bit of business consulting for corporates in, the area of my expertise. But I also do a lot of coaching and supporting, mostly for women, because, being a woman myself, I've experienced quite a lot of challenges around being a woman in corporate. So I focus on that. And it's, again, focusing on helping, supporting, and giving that assistance. And I work with a couple of people, and, it's to see somebody grow, to see somebody change, to be more self-aware, and to just achieve better results through a little bit of support from my side. It's the best thing. It's the best thing you see. I don't have kids, but I imagine that's how a mother feels.
Nice.
When you are proud of your children.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that was the idea for me to marry the two words. At the beginning, I was very much more focusing on the studio because it needed a little bit of effort to get it, to make it stronger. Because as you said, I took over an existing space, an existing studio. So I already had a customer base. I already had, location, and everything was functioning there. I felt there were a lot more things that I could do there.
Perfect.
And the thing that I really wanted to change was to move it from a space where you come and practice and leave to more of a community focus.
Perfect. So you can stay a little bit more.
Yeah.
So let's talk more about your Hotpod now. Yeah, right. How is the concept? I also like to make this question to the person who came even for a massage, but I think here's go well. How is the customer experience? Yeah, I mean, they contact you by you can always say now your Instagram or your webpage, or they call to the place. How it is first contact, then they come and they leave, they go to the class, they go out, and how is this all process?
Yeah. So one of the benefits of being part of franchise is that we have a lot of things electronic. So we have a beautiful website with the whole customer service system behind that. So all of the registration sign up are happening there. But most of contacts I get either via phone calls or from Instagram.
Okay.
And
that it is?
Hotpod Yoga Porto.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we ask everyone to create an account before they come to a class. And we have multiple ways of how you can do a first class. If you already have somebody, a friend who practices with us, we have the most amazing referral program. So you can bring as many friends as you want. They come for free and you get €5 on your account as a reward.
Nice.
And you can get it, you can use it for your next purchases. So that's our most popular and most frequent way of bringing people in. But we also have what we call experimental offers. At this moment, we have 2, but our main one is 15 days unlimited, and the price is also very good. And now during summer, we actually have 30 days unlimited.
Nice.
So you can come and do classes every single day.
Wow.
We ask all our students, always, to come before the class starts. So you can't, if the class starts at 10, you cannot come at 10.
Yeah, okay.
You have to come in early. At 10, the door is already closed. In Portugal, it's a little bit challenging, I have to say sometimes. But our concept just does not allow that, because
interrupt the class. Yeah.
One thing is interrupting the class, and when you walk into the pod, we have the door and we zip it up, and it's like, so obviously you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You release the heat when you open the door. But that's not even the biggest thing. If you come in 5 minutes in, we've probably are already during or like in the middle of the warm-up.
Yeah.
And with the heat, the warm-up is so much more intense. So if you skip the warm-up and go straight in, there is much higher possibility of you hurting yourself.
Yeah, gotcha.
And we just don't want that, obviously.
Of course.
So, everyone has to come in early. They get ready, they change. There's always tea and cookies on the table. There's always a candle there, so you can have a chat with the teacher, you can have a chat with other students. And we provide everything that you need for the practice. So the mat, the blocks, all of the props that you can possibly need. If you need water, you can fill it up there as well. The only thing that we ask the students to bring is a big towel to cover the mat. But again, if they don't have one, they can rent one with us.
Okay.
All of our classes are 1 hour. We have some strict rules about no chatter inside of the pod as well. Okay. So we keep it like a silent space, a quiet space. And after the class, again, we have showers. So if you want to take a quick rinse after the class, that's absolutely an option. We don't close the studio, or we don't have another class for half an hour
Perfect.
after the class ends. So there is time to, if you have any questions to the teacher, if you want to, understand some of the things that happened, or if you just want to give feedback, or just simply sit and chat and have some tea.
Yeah.
There is space to do that. And we've been getting a lot of feedback about how people are really enjoying it.
Nice.
Because I actually did not realize until I started talking with my teachers that it's rare. In most of the studios, you come in, you do your practice, you leave.
Yeah, because you are losing time. I mean, you are losing the possibility. If you lose, if I will say lose, I would do this with my hand.
I know.
Yeah. If you lose that half an hour, if after 2 classes you lose a class, you lose the possibility to get another class. So
Yeah.
business talking, it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But no, that's not what you wanted to do. I mean,
No, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been the concept in Hotpod
Okay.
always.
perfect.
Simply also because of the fact, the physical element. I mean, you really are sweaty
Yeah,
after the class.
true.
So most of people really want to take a shower. So you
Yeah.
have to give space for that. But a lot of people don't take the shower, or they just quickly change and they stay and chat. And we have a big table in the middle of the studio with that tea, with the cookies, with like a candle.
Mhm.
And we want to make sure that people feel welcome. So we always ask them how they feel. We always ask them, if they liked the experience, if they didn't, if there is any feedback.
Nice.
Of course, then afterwards there are emails asking for
Yeah,
feedback and
yeah.
everything else. But it's the connection inside after the class that I really like and I really want to cherish. And we have a lot of students who are saying, like my favorite part of this experience is the tea after.
Wow.
Or or now during the summer when it's super, super hot.
Mhm.
After we finish the class, everybody gets like a fridge cold wet towel to put on their face, and it's also like sprayed with our essential oils. And people are just absolutely loving it because it helps you cool down after the
Yeah.
hot class. So it's like a whole very rounded experience. You
Nice.
don't just. I mean, of course, sometimes people are in a rush and they will just come in 2
Of
minutes
course.
before and leave immediately after. But we focus really a lot on
Not just
providing
a
that
class.
whole
Yeah.
and that's why we also do a lot of events.
Mhm.
We have regularly workshops, and the workshops are not just on the physical part of yoga, but also on the metaphysical,
Yeah.
the spiritual. So we will, for example, have a workshop on inversions or arm balances, so things that people who are focused really on the physical part of the practice, they
Nice.
want to focus on. But one of my favorite workshops that we do is actually cacao ceremony joined with sound healing.
Nice.
And it's also our most popular one.
Yeah.
It's deeply transformative, it's deeply restorative, and people have such different reactions through it as well. The cacao is just strengthening the experience of the sound healing so much that very often people are, like having emotional reactions of different kinds. So we're actually going to do a workshop with Beleng as well.
Nice. Yeah.
About the breathing. So I'm very
Yeah.
excited for that. So we try to create space for those things there as well, and not just focus on like come in, do your vinyasa and go.
Yeah. Perfect. I like the idea of create the community at
Yeah.
the end. Create the community around the Hotpod class.
Yeah.
That's the full idea, and I
Yeah.
love it. I think that's the way that wellness is getting evaluation. It's getting
Evolution.
step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evolving.
Evolving. Thank you.
Evolving.
yeah. Sorry by my English. Yeah,
That's
but
all right.
yeah, evolving. Wow, perfect. I love it. I definitely gonna go. I wanted to try
Yeah,
that.
you have to.
Because I'm gonna make an spoiler here. I'm gonna start to create another kind of not a podcast, but another concept that I'm gonna try different wellness experience. So I'm gonna go then do different kind of things. So this one could be
Yeah.
a good
So
thing to do.
you just let me know when you want to come,
Perfect.
and the first class is on me
Perfect.
for you.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I wanted to add something what is very important to
Mhm.
our experience. When you ask how the experience is, most of our classes are in English.
okay, well, good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we do have Portuguese teachers,
Mhm.
and if it happens that the full room is Portuguese or Portuguese speaking, and the teacher speaks Portuguese, they
We
will
can do
give
it.
the
Yeah,
class
of
in
course.
Portuguese. But as soon as there is one person who doesn't speak Portuguese in the room, the class is going to be in English.
Okay.
That also means if a teacher like myself who doesn't speak Portuguese,
Mm-hmm.
even if I have only Portuguese people in the room, the class with me is always going to be in
Okay.
English.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it's actually very interesting because on one hand, it brings a lot of foreigners. I mean, it's the way that I came there. That
Yeah.
was the main reason for me to go there. Matosinhos in particular is an area where we have a lot of internationals.
Yes.
But actually, a lot of Portuguese people or people for whom English is not the first language, they're saying that the fact that the class is in English is actually giving them a different level of focus.
Okay.
Because
Well, yes.
because when you listen to instructions in your own native language, it's much easier to disconnect. It just becomes like a background noise sort of thing. But if you listen in a language that is not your native, not your first language, you really have to focus and you really have to pay attention.
So you're focusing in the class, you're focusing in the heat, and now you're focusing the language.
And on your breath.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
you really cannot think about anything else.
Yeah,
It's like
makes sense.
you're inside the bubble and nothing else matters.
Nice. Well, good to know, because it's also a good thing for the one like you at the beginning was looking for an English teacher and stuff. And well, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't have the number, but a lot of the Portuguese person in general terms speak a lot of language. At least Spanish and English, I think that the majority
are
get
usually very comfortable understanding English.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not
maybe.
a lot. Sometimes people don't like to speak
Yeah,
English.
true.
They are not comfortable responding to you in English. But because all of the international channels here on TV
Yes. Or the movies even.
they are all kept with the original audio and subtitles.
Exactly.
Most of people have had enough English to feel comfortable in the class.
Yeah, that's
Occasionally it happens that somebody will not understand, but the teacher is there to demonstrate, and
they're
teacher
doing
is there,
exactly.
exactly. So you can always follow along.
Perfect. So what is into the future? How do you see Hotspot in 2-3 more years? What do you think will be the next step?
I'm not sure if 2-3 years is the
Well,
timeline when I will get there.
5-10.
My dream would be to have more Hotpods.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, my
wow.
dream would be to have 1 or 2 more in Portugal.
Okay, nice.
And maybe 1 in Poland.
Okay, wow. I will say this, but I'm not sure if it is true or not. But Poland is a lot of sauna thing and things. So maybe Hotspot Yoga make kind of a sense in there too.
When I was at uni, it was a while ago, and but in winters in Poland are very dark and gloomy. Nights are very long, days are very short. There is very often very little sunlight. So whenever I was feeling extremely down, I was going to get a tan in solarium.
Okay.
And it was making me feel really good because it was giving me the vitamin D boost.
Yeah, of course.
It's not the healthiest thing that I could have done, obviously, right? It's not very healthy for your skin. But I like the warmth and I like the light. Yeah. And when I think about bringing Hotpot to Poland, I'm thinking this could be a healthy equivalent of what I was doing when I was feeling down.
Yeah, makes
sense. Because I mean, yes, it's not bright light,
of course,
but the endorphins are just going crazy there after the practice. So that's sort of my that would be my dream. And I hear so many people. I have those couple of people who are, for example, working in Lisbon, living in Porto, and kind of traveling in between. And every time they come back from Lisbon, it's like, when are you opening in Lisbon? Yeah. I have people coming in from Braga or Armazine.
Oh, nice.
And they're like, could you open something in the north?
Near for that,
yeah, so that's the dream.
Okay, nice.
That's the dream.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will to ask one more question. This one appears now. But maybe in Poland you was not that much connect, but do you feel any difference in between wellness with the Poland persons compared with the Portuguese persons? Do you think that Portugal it's more openly and connected with wellness in general terms than what Poland could be?
That's a very interesting question. It's hard for me to respond really because in Poland I wasn't that same person.
Yeah.
Definitely Poland is very much focused on self-care right now. And wellness in general.
Okay, nice.
But I think it's a little bit more focused on the physical health.
Okay.
although I think the world in general is changing,
Yeah, for sure.
like
Yes.
I mentioned I'm a millennial not without a reason. When I was, starting my career, it was all about work.
Yeah,
It was
true.
like there was no space for anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
And now all of the millennials, or majority of millennials, have gotten to like a breaking point or close to a breaking point.
Yeah.
And they realize that life is not only about work, and life is not only about killing yourself for some
Yeah, true.
for results. So there is a tendency in general to slow down. Whether how different it is between Poland and Portugal, hard to say really. I haven't been
Okay.
in Poland that much to be able to judge. In Portugal, I think it's a I don't want to say it's a trend, but I think
It's a kind of a starting. I think that it's not enough to
it's
be
a
a trend. Yeah.
tendency.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want this like trend sort of indicates that it's like a temporary
Yeah.
something that is popular. I would
Yeah.
like this to be a change. I
Yeah.
would like this to be something bigger than a trend.
I think that the weather in Portugal helps a lot to that. More maybe that because it's not just okay, but a hotspot could be in a closed place, but there is
Yeah.
a lot of wellness living around the beach, around the park,
True.
around the that maybe in other countries with another type of weather will not have it that part.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, even if you look at the winters and the comparison I made with Poland, right?
Yeah.
In winter in Poland, it's dark at 4. And we typically start working at 8 and finish at 4. So when you go to work, it's dark. And when you leave office, it's dark.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah,
It's
that's
very
hard. I cannot imagine that.
Yeah. In Portugal, obviously, the days are a little longer. So it feels a little different. You still have time to do something else. And for sure, the weather conditions are much, but even to go for a run, it's much more comfortable, right? And yoga, you can do everywhere.
Yeah, true.
You can do it in the beach. You can do it in the park. Yes, of course, everyone should do it in Hotpod.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least try. But it's the kind of activity that you can do anytime, and you don't need fancy equipment for it either. You don't need running shoes. You don't need any weights to lift.
Just the mat,
you just need a
maybe.
mat.
Yeah.
But even
Even
worst
though-
case scenario, you can do it without a mat. Like on the beach, you don't need a mat.
Exactly.
So you just need your mind, and
Yeah.
you just need your focus, and that's it.
Nice.
So I hope it's more than a trend.
Nice. Yeah, I hope that too.
Yeah.
We're working for that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's true.
I
Yeah.
think we are
Yeah.
all going there,
Yeah.
and I think that people are becoming more aware of how we should be taking care of not just the physical health, but also the mental health.
Yeah.
For me, I started, when my friend introduced me to yoga, it was because of the mental
Of course.
well-being. I didn't accept that at the time. I was like,
Yeah.
"What are you talking about? I don't need yoga. I'm perfectly fine." And I was like, "No, you're stressed. It's gonna help you with anxiety." And I was like, "I don't have anxiety. I'm
Yeah.
dealing with everything." But it was just life changing for me, and I remember exactly the moment when it changed because when I started coming to the classes, I liked what it did to me. I liked how it felt at the end, but I was really just seeing the physical aspect. I saw that I was calmer. I saw that I was like, feeling a little bit like refreshed and restored, but I didn't see the head impact in there.
Literally, you cannot see it. That will be the hard part. You need to figure it out. And for that point, you will need to be calm enough to connect with yourself and say, okay, wow, I'm calmer now.
And you have to be open-minded to see it.
True.
I remember in one of my first class, one of the teachers who's still teaching with us, she was finishing the class with, and now thank the universe. And I was like,
oh, okay.
like, rolling my eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, this again. But that very same teacher months ago said something else. She said, maybe thank yourself for making the time to come here. And I was like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can think. That makes sense to
Yeah.
me. That resonates. And that was the changing point.
Nice.
That exactly moment, I started realizing that I'm actually doing something good for myself. And I started inviting that sensation. I started allowing this. And that's when it all changed.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, Anna, this will be the last question of the
Sure.
podcast because of timing, because I need to edit and then. And I say this to a lot of my guests here. We're gonna make chapter 2 in 3 or 4 years, maybe when you're hotpot in Lisbon already or another one. So we keep talking after, okay? And the last question is not actually a question; it's an space for you to give any type of message that you want to give, or invitation maybe to Hotspot if you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, the camera is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me that space.
Mhm.
I definitely feel that Hotpot is a place that everyone should give a go. Everyone should give it a try. And that's why I will be opening up a free class for everyone who wants to join, who's listening to us. So if you look into the caption, we're going to give you instructions how to claim your free class, and you can come and experiment for yourself, see how Hotspot Yoga makes you feel. And hopefully you love it. And hopefully you stay with us for longer. But we have really beautiful space there. We are welcoming everyone. So regardless whether you've done any yoga before, if you have lots of experience, or if this would be your first class ever, you can come and we adapt the class to the needs of everyone in the room. The one single exception is pregnant ladies.
Okay, good to know.
Because of the heat, we can't do that much, but we have other solutions, other classes that are not heated. So even if you are pregnant and you feel that you would like to move a little, you can contact and we will figure it out. So yeah, very, very much looking forward to seeing you all.
Perfect. Perfect.
And
So
seeing you
you already
too.
know. Yeah. I
Yeah.
already told you. I'm planning this full new concept, so I'm gonna be there for sure. For sure. No, definitely.
I would love to have
I'm
you.
not sure if yoga will be my best experience.
You know what?
But yeah.
I love when men are coming to yoga.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because
Yeah.
very often people feel that it's like a very girly activity, like stretchy pants and like matching outfits and, like the beautiful, beautiful girls who are just like bending over backwards. And men are very often very judgmental and they come in and they say, oh, that's going to be so easy. And then they leave the practice like, this was so much harder than I thought it would be. So,
I can imagine that happen.
So I'm really curious how it's going to go for you.
Perfect. So once again, thank you very much for coming here. How it was experience, good conversation.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, thank you
Great
for having me.
I was thinking now, if someday one of your teachers wants to come here too, that could be another good option to interview them. So the space is open for you if you're listening. Yeah. Well, thank you very much again. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much, everyone who is hearing until now. Go to share comments in Instagram, in your Instagram, in my Instagram, in Spotify, in YouTube, wherever you want to see this. Go there. Go to try one class. Came here to try a massage too. That could be a good option.
Absolutely.
And
you should do both.
Yeah,
give yourself a self-care day. Do a yoga, then come for a massage. Perfect set.
Then go to eat something nice and go to bed earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah, and repeat the next day. Well, thank you very much, everyone. See you in the next chapter.
Bye.